Now that the enemy have revealed their whereabouts, the men of the defending forces bring their own 280mm gun into play. To move the gun into position, set it up for action, load and aim, takes less than 30 minutes before firing.
In 1953, the US fired the world's only nuclear artillery shell, a 15-kiloton blast from a cannon called Atomic Annie. It was a weapon of the Cold War's wildest dreams and its strangest nightmares. This wasn't just firepower, it was a message. But how did a nuclear cannon become a thing? And why did it vanish? Let's roll back the clock. After World War II, the US owned the atomic bomb, but that edge didn't last. By 1949, the Soviet Union had their own nuke, and the Korean War showed how fast a ground fight could explode. Bombers could drop the big one, but they were slow, vulnerable, and miles from the front. The army wanted something new, a nuclear punch they could land on the battlefield. So, in 1949, engineers at Picatinny Arsenal dreamed up the M65, nicknamed Atomic Annie. It wasn't just a cannon, it was a nuclear battering ram, a 280mm barrel, firing a 15-kiloton shell, the same yield as Hiroshima. This was about deterrence, yes, but also flexing muscle in a world where the next war felt one spark away. Between 1955 and 1962, 20 Atomic Annies hit the field, landing in the Cold War's hottest zones. First stop, West Germany, NATO's front line against the Soviet juggernaut. Picture it parked along the Iron Curtain, daring the Warsaw Pact to blink. Next, South Korea. Fresh off the Korean War, it guarded the DMZ, a nuclear tripwire against another invasion. Then Okinawa, a Pacific fortress staring down China, bolstering America's reach in the Far East. But moving this beast? A nightmare. 83 tons, 84 feet long, towed by two massive trucks at a glacial 30 miles an hour. It took 7 soldiers to fire it, and preset sights to aim it. Annie wasn't mobile, she was a statement, 18 miles of nuclear range at a time. To the nations hosting it, Atomic Annie was a double-edged sword. In West Germany, it screamed, "America's got your back, but also you're ground zero if this kicks off." Locals slept safer, yet knew they'd be the first to glow. In South Korea, it was a post-war shield, a promise against the North's next move. But any shot fired meant escalation. No one could walk back. Okinawa, under US control, and Japan alike. Annie wasn't subtle. It rolled through Eisenhower's 1953 parade, starred in a Nevada test shot that shook the world, a Cold War icon you couldn't ignore. By 1963, though, Atomic Annie was done. Why? Missiles took over. Faster, farther, less clunky. Rockets like the Honest John and ICBMs outran her lumbering frame. The Cold War grew too big for battlefield nukes. Strategy shifted to long-range deterrence, not tactical toys. At 83 tons, she was too slow, too vulnerable, a sitting duck in modern war. Her one test shot in '53 proved she worked, but firing her for real? Unthinkable as tensions soared. The last units rolled out in '62, scrapped or parked in museums. 8 survive today, rusting relics of a wild idea. Atomic Annie fired one shot and faded away, but it's a snapshot of a time when nuclear war felt one shell away. Genius or madness? Drop your take below and subscribe for more Cold War deep dives.